And welcome back to another episode of JP and the Beanstalk.
Let's go. Here we are. There's a good energy in the gym on account of our presence. We're here.
Yes.
We're ready to rip.
We took last week off.
We did.
We had to readjust.
A little housekeeping sesh.
Yes.
It was great.
Yes, we had to evaluate where we wanted to go.
Places.
Yes. Places. Things.
Yeah.
You're going to see some new stuff coming.
Oh my goodness.
We're going to try some new things.
New, fresh.
A little bit of dabble, a little bit of here.
And yet the same us,
Right.
which is really what you want.
Right. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper.
A little bit of seasoning.
A little bit of cinnamon. A little bit of stuff like that.
Yeah. I was reading a cooking book the other day, and evidently one of the just fundamental ways to make food better, this just makes sense. More salt, more butter, more heat. Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Butter makes everything better.
It does.
That's why they rhyme.
It really does.
Better butter.
Why you would want to, like, when given the option, let's say you're crafting a baked good, right? And the ingredient list calls for butter. Why would you substitute something for butter? Listen, when my wife makes exquisitely delicious baked goods, I know it's because there is nothing but bad for me things inside of them.
Correct.
But they're so good.
That's
it just
point.
makes sense. Right, that's the point. We're going to go on a couple of riffs, okay?
Love it.
Couple of riffs.
I love riffing.
Small rant by me, and we're going to riff on this. Why on earth and how on earth has this even happened in this day and age of morbid obesity that we have desserts that are occasionally marketed as, not occasionally, often marketed as, well, this is good for you. Okay, time out. If I'm eating a dessert, I'm expecting clogged veins. Like, don't try and just pull the wool over my eyes here. If you're eating dessert, it's not supposed to be good for you. It's supposed to be delicious and fattening. That's it.
I get it.
So what are we doing here? Trying to make desserts healthy? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Don't do that. Make it as unhealthy and consequently delicious as humanly possible.
Unfortunately, there are people that don't have our self-control.
Well,
and that's who those are made for. Are the people who don't have that self-control.
but if you're eating that, look in the mirror. All right, reevaluate things. You need to make a different decision. If you're eating a healthy cookie, put it down. Walk away.
Well, that's not a cookie. That's a wafer.
That's not a cookie. Right. You've been
not
fooled. Your time, your money, your valuable eating efforts have been wasted.
Psych. It's a rice cake.
That's right. You go to Cold Stone and you get some real thick ice cream.
Oh, I love ice cream.
And just embrace it.
I love
just
ice
savor
cream
it
so
for
much.
a while. Who doesn't? Oh, yeah. Who doesn't? We're kind of on the tail end of prime ice cream season in the summer, but let's be real. Ice cream is a 12-month-a-year dessert.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
You can't put a cap on ice cream.
Oh, 100%.
No, absolutely cannot.
100%.
Absolutely cannot. Well, we're thrilled to be here. We're thrilled to rip through a series of new segments for you. We have been blessed, of course, with an absolute abundance of fresh movies and TV shows, of which will always still be a critical part of your favorite JP and the Beanstalk episodes. But we're excited to pump out more content throughout the week, in addition to the regular bi-weekly podcast full-length episodes that the dozens of you that are committed listeners have come to rely upon and
22.
enjoy. Let's go. We appreciate all of you that are out there, that are sticking with us. We love you. We're going to keep working hard for you. So with that being said, I had a thought today, okay?
Yes.
And my thought is, which villain, okay, or perhaps a different character, but I'm going to try and keep it in the lane of villain here, all right?
Okay.
If you were a superhero, would you just get the most joy out of just smoking, vanquishing them? So put yourselves in a hero's shoes. You have this adversary that is just pestering, beating the heck out of you, giving you more trouble than you ever thought was possible. Which would you get the most satisfaction out of? I got him. I beat him down. It's over. And along with that, therefore, which hero would you be, right? Because that's really a two-part question. Which hero would you be, and which villain would you just smoke?
Okay, so here's a question. is this out of
Yep. Flesh it out.
is this out of feeling like, or is this out of like competition? So like they're a very like
This
good
is
villain.
a very emotional response. So, for example, I would never pick myself as a particular MCU hero to defeat or vanquish Thanos, right? Like he's a great villain. He's an outstanding villain, but I wouldn't find any like emotional satisfaction over taking that son of a gun down.
Okay, so I have two takes then.
Great.
Okay, so first one that I would just find pure enjoyment out.
Yep.
Beating the Batman, okay,
Yep.
and
Yep.
fighting somebody along the lines of like the Polka Dot Man or the Condiment King, because they're just stupid and ridiculous, and like beating
Just weed them out.
right,
Yep. Yep.
beating them senseless in the like all his polka dots are gone when I'm done. Like that just seems really satisfying
Vanilla
to me, because it's as Batman, you go in there, you're like, well, I know I'm gonna win this, right? Like you see him and you're like, this guy's gonna go down.
Sure.
His name is Crazy Quilt. He's going down. This is going to be easy peasy. I could have sent...
It's upsetting that it's real, right? It's upsetting that this quote-unquote villain even exists.
Yeah.
It's just like, time out. This is wrong.
This is what
wrong
you
on every
chose to
level.
be?
Yep. Yep.
So for me, it would be like,
No.
oh, that'd be so satisfying. It'd be like, because it's out of annoyance. Like you're
I get that.
You're squashing a
Right.
bug, a mosquito that's been like sucking the blood out of your life.
Nobody likes mosquitoes. Everybody can relate to that, taking a mosquito down.
And you're like, oh, my friend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
But from like an emotional, like crazy level, probably Spider-Man, Green Goblin.
That's a great answer.
Green
Yes.
Goblin was like the perfect like emotional tie to Spider-Man.
Yep.
Like
The amount of damage he has inflicted upon Spider-Man, and not
in his
just
personal
physically,
life?
right? Personally. Yeah.
right.
No question.
So
That was my answer as well. That's my answer as well. I think a close second, honestly, and this is more comic related than movie related, would probably be Thor. Like I would be Thor and just taking Loki out.
right.
Because in the comics, like I delight in what the movies have done where they've made Loki more of an anti-hero. That's great. It's been worthwhile. I've enjoyed that path for him in the movies and his subsequent TV show. In the comics, he's just a turd.
He's a
Just
dick.
He's
a dick.
pest. Mosquito's the great analogy for it. So just to squish that mosquito and just be like, you know what? Someone else. Anybody but this guy, right? Anybody
Right.
but this guy who's waving the same flag of, well, I'm smarter than Thor. I deserve to be king. All this insecure nonsense. If I was Thor, I would just take great delight in taking Mjolnir, squishing the bug, and being like, let's just move on. Come on. Give me someone new. Enough of this.
Right.
Enough of this.
Because it can't be a villain that like, for instance, it would never be the Joker.
No.
Because you lose. Even when you win, you lose. So you can't have a guy like that.
Yep.
So it's just like, yeah, a Green Goblin by far.
Right, the Joker wants, in a weird and twisted way, wants Batman to break that rule, to go too far, so you don't really win. Yeah.
Although 9 times out of 10, like his rogues gallery would probably be very satisfying. Like the Riddler being like, "Oh, yep. You don't have to tell me another riddle.
Yep.
Oh, thank God."
Yeah.
Clue Master. Oh, here's a clue. Go to prison.
Yeah. Yeah. If you can tell, I've been a little angsty, and so that's where this thought kind of
Hey,
just came up. Like, who could I just squish? I just need to squish something right now. Just
hey,
need to
you've been angsty. I've been angsty too. It's okay.
let the angst flow.
I've been angsty too.
All these things. Okay. Great intro topic. Love that. So we're going to hit on a number of segments during this fantastic episode for you. One of which you teased really well earlier in the week on the social medias, the costume of the week.
Oh, I didn't post that yet.
You haven't posted that.
I haven't posted it yet.
Bless you.
I was gonna refilm it. I just did that video.
I can't believe it's only been an internal. I feel so honored.
Yeah. No, I
Excited
sent,
to share this with the people.
I sent that to 3 people.
Okay.
Because I wanted to do a test video.
Fair.
I want to make sure
Fair.
that the format worked.
Sure.
And that the pictures worked.
Yep.
I sent that
Yep.
to you. I sent it to our boy Danny O'Mani.
Let's go.
And I sent it to Soul.
Danny O'Mani, #Molecule Man.
Right. I sent it to those 3 people. I said, okay, what are the thoughts?
Okay.
Yes.
Well, without further ado, let's dive into it. You're picking a costume.
First of all, it'll be called Super Suit Sundays.
Thank you.
Alliteration on purpose.
Yes.
Because it's fun to say.
It is.
And yes, we are picking one alternate costume.
Delightful.
I like super suit better than costume because it sounds like it's a Halloween party. And we're going super
It's good
suits.
to draw that line of demarcation. We are coming up on the Halloween season.
This isn't for child.
on the horizon.
This isn't child's play.
Very serious.
Super suits. So, the idea is to present a super suit.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Discuss said super suit.
Right.
And then, I think I'm going to I'm trying to think of how I want to do it. Because Marvel has their Marvel Legends,
Right.
And DC has their action figure line as well. So I didn't know if it would be cool. I don't know if I want to plug that or not.
I think you can do whatever you want.
Right. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to incorporate that if I want to. So that's still in the works. But the first one will be in Amazing Spider-Man 7 and 8 in the current run with Zeb Wells.
Okay, Zeb.
Norman Osborn is gifting Spidey a suit.
Yes.
I don't know along the lines of what or why, okay? But this suit, let me tell you what this suit has. Because it's very Goblin-inspired, so it's kind of weird.
Shocker.
Yeah.
Also, what the flip? How is Norman Osborn actually giving Spider-Man anything?
Couldn't tell.
I'm just going to, again, another little rant here. Spider-Man deserves better. For as great of a comics character as he has been in his past, when did we last get a Spider-Man worthy comic run in the present? It's been a piece. It's been a while. I can't think of a single one. I can't think of a single one that has even been referenced to me. In team-ups, okay, sure, he'll still appear in Avengers style events, but the dude should be having outstanding solo runs on the regular. And
right.
To my knowledge, it's been a long time, Riles. Freaking Thor has had a better comics run than Spider-Man of late. Thor!
It's fair.
That's not supposed to happen.
It's fair.
Get it together, Spidey.
So,
Anyway, so Norman gives him a suit, because sure, why not? Green Goblin's hooking you up with a suit. Come on, man.
Right. And so, this suit has a spider glider. Oh, don't do that.
A spider glider?
Yeah, he has a glider that he can
That's so
control
disrespectful.
with his web. Let's just see.
I hate that. You got your webs for a reason. Get off the glider.
He has egg bombs,
Disgusting.
which essentially
Disgusting. They make spider babies, don't they?
yeah, they do.
Jeez.
little spider drones.
No.
I'm not even making that up.
Oh my goodness.
Egg bomb belt can release thousands of baby nano spiders.
No.
And it looks like it's a digital mask. And then he's got some crazy cool shoulder pads that just everyone loves talking about. And a satchel. So
He has the freaking goblin satchel.
right. And the glider can also work.
Nobody drives the glider straight into a ginormous tree. Right into a tree. A huge friggin' sequoia. Are you kidding me?
The glider also works as a jetpack.
There's no sequoias, I guess, on the East Coast where Spider-Man is, okay, pick a skyscraper and just fly into it. Come on, man. Unbelievable.
Well, I know how Jordan feels
That's how
about
I
this.
feel about it. Disgusted. This is rock bottom for Spider-Man as a comic book character. His suit is now the Green Goblin suit. Everything about it is ruined. That's terrible.
Okay.
That's terrible. That's like, hey, Batman, here's the deal. Okay, we know black has been your color for a while. That's been your shade. Here's purple and green. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that the Joker's cut? Well, LOL, it's hilarious. Also, start carrying around a gun that says bang, except instead of bang, it says bat.
Well, have you seen the Batman Zurin R suit?
No.
The purple and red and the yellow.
Zurin R. What's Zurin R?
It's like
Is this an alternate universe thing?
not quite.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
So they recently brought that back, and the premise of Batman Zurin R is he's pretty much locked away the Bruce Wayne parts in his noggin.
Sure.
and just goes full Batman.
Just
So he's a
went
little
full
bit.
Bat.
So he's a little bit more unhinged.
Sure. Sure.
But the suit's like purple, red, and yellow.
Okay. Disgusting. Don't do it. Don't do it. I weep for Spider-Man. What a great character. What an outstanding history. And here we are. This is it. This is rock bottom. 2022, September 1. Spider-Man hit rock bottom. Surely it can only go up from here. Or can it get worse? We'll have to monitor this situation.
Well, they also did announce that
No.
that Norman Osborn's going to take a shot at being a hero.
Nope.
But he's not the Green Goblin anymore.
No. What are they doing?
He's
They're out of ideas. That's what that is. That's just piss poor.
He is. I want to make sure I get this.
I have no patience for these shenanigans. Do better. I paid professionals to come up with original stories. This is not original. Spider babies and those spider bombs.
I will
A
say
satchel.
I will say that is disgusting.
That's gross.
Nothing creeps me out more than that.
No. A bomb that explodes and just dispenses spiders. That's horrible.
Yes, he's going by the Gold Goblin.
No.
So
It's ridiculous. Outrageous. How do you feel about it? I've expressed my opinion very strongly, very firmly.
I mean, I think it's a little ridiculous. You know what? I don't mind the I don't mind the glider as much. Honestly, the egg bombs creep me out, dude. That creeps me out. Like, honestly,
I can't stand the glider. Like, you've got the webs. That's part of what makes Spider-Man so unique. He doesn't need a jetpack. He doesn't need a flying suit. He has the webs. That's how he gets from A to B. That's part of what makes him such an evasive, difficult to hit when you're the opponent. He's incredibly fluid, pun intended. So, love the webs. A glider.
bro, imagine being like Mysterio, and you're like wreaking havoc, right? And
Sure.
then Spider-Man just drops an egg.
Oh.
And you're like, oh, what's this? Is this a bomb? And then a bunch of spiders come out. I'd piss my pants. I would piss my pants.
Game over.
Oh, I need a diaper.
Surrender immediately.
Right. I'd be like, what is this?
Okay, well, so there's the super suit. Yeah. Unbelievable.
And I thought I was going to rant tonight.
Unbelievable.
I think you got me beat.
Nah, we'll get you there.
Yeah, if I know what's getting brought.
All right, so there's our super suit for the week. Sorry, Spider-Man, but currently you suck. Do better, bud.
Yes. So go ahead and look up that suit. I think they call it the Osborn suit. So
Terrible.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of things that are terrible, just a little general news segment here for us. In a not at all stunning bit of news, the DC movie slate has once again been delayed, been pushed back. So, psych, thought you were getting Black Adam soon.
Black Adam's still coming out in October, is he not?
Wait a minute, is it really? Okay.
I think Black
Adam's safe.
I think Black Adam's safe.
I'm in a dark place currently.
I think the only ones that got moved back
You're right. Thanks
are
for correcting me.
Shazam and Aquaman. So I think Shazam got moved from December to March.
Right.
And I think Aquaman got moved from March to June or July. Am I right?
You're right. Black Adam is still October 21, which we're happy with. The Flash, allegedly, coming out in June of 2023.
Cancel it. Continue.
Cancel
it. Continue.
We're still calling our shot here. I think we're on the same page, right?
Cancel it.
It's not coming out. It's not actually coming out. The real bummer was the Shazam movie getting delayed from this calendar year, pushed all the way into next year.
Is it March?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. March of 2022.
Yes.
Yep.
You mean 23?
I'm sorry. Did I say 2022?
You did.
I did.
It's okay though.
I did.
I forgive you.
Thank you. Yeah. So that's a real, in my opinion, a real bummer. Actually, you know what? Hang on a second.
Not surprising though. With the way that this is going.
No, it's not. It's just, and we don't need to get down to the exact dates other than, come on.
This boat already has a lot of holes in it.
There's
We've been taking on water for quite a while. It's
Quite
amazing
some time.
we're still afloat.
quite some time. I don't know what else to say other than freaking woof. How on earth is this still so sloppy, so tough, so hard to just be able to embrace? I mean, you want to get excited about it. You want to just express some genuine enthusiasm, but they make it hard on us, Riles.
Yes, they do.
They make it hard on us.
Yes, they do.
I'm still looking forward to seeing the Black Adam movie. Still looking forward to seeing the Shazam movie.
Oh, we're going to Black Adam.
Yep. Aquaman,
Of course.
yes. But, man, it's just grim after that. Just really grim. So, we won't dwell on that. DC, come on. Do better. You can't do much worse. Just look at Spider-Man and his freaking satchel. Don't do the satchel.
I'm not going to lie to you. I did not think that was going to rev you up.
Oh, it did. But it did. All right. Good super suit of the week. Let's transition, hopefully into something positive. A little callback here. I'd like to bring back some positive vibes, and then we'll get negative again, don't worry. But some positive vibes on something that was awesome, that we enjoyed from a movie from the not-too-distant past. And on this week's podcast, we want to call back to the original Avengers movie. And there's a lot of awesome things we could pull from that movie. So many great things. But what I wanted to highlight in particular was the freaking Hulk in that movie. We hit on this a little bit in a previous podcast, but what we got of the Hulk in the original Avengers movie was incredible. Absolute scene-stealing stuff from his fight with Thor, which was great. Ripped the helicarrier to shreds. To his battle in New York, where he's just kicking Chitauri tail left and right. But for me, the highlight of the Hulkdom in that movie, outside of the action, of course, is how they just crushed the character. They absolutely nailed it. And the line where he says, "That's my secret, Cap. I'm always angry." Just masterful stuff. Masterful stuff, because what's hanging over the character of the Hulk throughout this movie, and all of his wannabe teammates are aware of it, is, hey, this Bruce Banner guy, right? He could snap at any moment and turn on us, just turn into the giant monster, be out of control. But to give Bruce more control than we have previously understood him to have, not complete control by any stretch of the imagination, but at least some control over when the Hulk emerges, was sheer brilliance, because it also ties the Hulk to Bruce Banner. Like, Bruce Banner is literally always angry. He's always upset. And so the Hulk, for as much as Bruce wants to separate himself as Bruce Banner from the Hulk as the monster, they might be a little more similar than Bruce has been willing to admit for a while. And that was just tremendous storytelling. Tremendous.
It's peak Hulk.
It is.
Him and in Ragnarok.
Yep.
Hulk was good in Ragnarok. But after that, it's just kind of...
Yeah, I think when you look across the expanse of what we've had or not had of Hulk, there is so much still, after 10 years of Hulk being in the Avengers movie, and since that time, there's still so much untapped potential for that character. So much.
It's just like they don't know what to do with him, and partially it's because they don't have the full rights to him, which I heard they might be getting back in 2023, which if that's the case, then we might actually get like legit Hulk. But like...
Which I don't think anybody who watches those movies, reads the comics, would be opposed to a reversion from the Professor Hulk back to your classic, shall we say, Savage.
Dude, they brought Professor Hulk in way too soon. There's not enough character progression for the Hulk to have Professor Hulk.
Yeah, we still got him.
We got ripped off from a Hulk Thanos rematch. We did. Like, I get that
I would have enjoyed seeing that.
You could have come up with a different way to bring everybody back. You did not need the Hulk to do the snap.
I still enjoyed it.
I mean, it's okay, but I'm saying
works.
you could have done that
works.
without him being a professor.
True.
I feel like.
True.
Maybe I'm crazy.
Hey, it's okay. Anything else you wanted to highlight with how great Hulk was in the Avengers movie?
No, because the rest of it just makes me sad.
Okay. Okay, well, we don't want you being sad for too long.
Because that's just like, but now he sucks.
Yeah. We don't want you being sad for too long. Or do we? We might actually. Because here's the other thing we need to touch on. While there have been many awesome, worthwhile moments to call back to in movies past, there have also been just as many, if not more, just foolish, dumb things that we've seen in superhero movies. And Riley, how do you feel about Deadpool? Not, of course, the solo movie, which is universally adored, but Deadpool in his first appearance in the cinematic, not quite classic, Wolverine Origins. Also played by Ryan Reynolds.
You know, when like people like that get shot and you bring up the experience and that bullet hole just hurts.
I've heard those stories. Fortunately, have never had to personally.
Yeah, that's what this feels like
experience
for me.
That. Okay.
Listen, I just want to come out on the record before we get into this. I was a Deadpool fan before Deadpool took off. I want that on record.
Even Wolverine Origins?
Pre-Wolverine Origins.
That's fantastic.
I played Marvel Ultimate Alliance on the PlayStation 2 by myself.
Sure.
Beat the game.
Yep.
Found Deadpool in that game. I was like, oh, this guy seems kind of cool. I was like, oh, he's got a healing factor. That's dope. And then he started talking to the game. He's like, oh, my health's low. I was like,
breaking that fourth wall.
I was like, what is this? What is this? And then I was like, oh, he's got guns. And he can teleport. And he can stab people. I was like, this is fantastic. And I don't have to die. Like, I can just live forever. So that's what I did. So I was a Deadpool fan.
That was your intro
since
to
Marvel
Deadpool.
Ultimate Alliance. Correct, yes.
That's awesome.
Yes. And I've been a fan ever since. And then I found out he's like coming in X-Men Origins. I'm like, oh, Wade Wilson.
You're getting hyped up. You're getting excited.
And like, Ryan Reynolds.
Great casting choice.
Cuts a bullet in half. I'm like,
Perfect.
oh, that's cool.
Right.
2 people die. Don't know how that's possible. Hey, that's sweet, right?
It's not. It's not possible. It was ludicrous. Incredibly ludicrous.
Which is addressed in Deadpool 2. But, and then they're like, yeah, can't get him to shut up. Like, he's talking all the time. He's hilarious. I'm like, this dude's awesome.
Yep.
And then, like, I don't understand the thought process and who was behind that design or that decision in general. But I see Deadpool come back from essentially the dead. Okay?
Because it was never really explained.
Right. And also, like, yeah, Deadpool's dope, but he didn't have, like, the mutant stuff right away. And then they, like, make him, like, they give him Cyclops' eyeball guns. I'm sorry, I couldn't think of the right words. Concussion blast. Okay, they give him that. And then they give him, like, Nightcrawler's teleportation, which I'm like, his teleportation comes from the suit that he had, you know? But that's fine. And then, like, they're like, oh, it looks like he found a way to shut you up because he sewed his mouth shut. And I'm like, well, that's a stupid decision. And then they did, like, the stupid, like...
Which didn't
make eyes.
Any sense that they sewed his mouth shut? What?
No, how's he supposed to eat for sustenance? Doesn't make any sense. And then, yeah, he's like... Then the eye things that came on, like, they're supposed to be, like, Deadpool's mask. And you're like...
Right.
Why? And then his swords come out of his wrists like he's knockoff Wolverine. And I'm like, why?
No.
This whole thing is stupid.
No.
Like, seriously, whoever made that decision is, like, my public enemy number 1. So, God bless Ryan Reynolds. He saved Deadpool. He did. Single-handedly saved the character. Made him into what he is now. On a movie perspective, not as a character perspective.
Like, we've talked many times and will continue to about how movies have the ability to take liberties with the characters that they're drawing from the comics. And by liberties, we mean, you know, just as liberties would suggest, changes, tweaks, what have you. And it's understandable when a change is made and you're watching the movie going, hey, this is different than what I expected based on what I knew from the comics, but this is a valid take on that character. Maybe it's not even an improvement necessarily in your eyes, but at least you can say, I see what they did here. Different, but still valid. This was neither of those things. This was neither a improvement on the character of Deadpool, nor did it make any flippin' sense.
It was the equivalent of the Seahawks not running Marshawn Lynch on the goal line to win the Super Bowl and instead decide to throw it on third down and get picked off by Malcolm Butler. That was the equivalent. Like, what Seahawks fans felt in that moment during that game is what I felt like just when they brought him back on screen. And I'm like, what is happening? And they just kept getting worse and worse. And then you wanted to burn the whole... It almost ruins the entire movie. Like, it was solid. Like, it was okay. And then that completely, like, derailed it.
That movie, that might be worth going back and rewatching, is doing an entire podcast on that movie, because there are some genuine strengths in that movie, but there are some serious lows. Like, that is a fascinating, awesome, like, there's no middle ground. It's either some fantastic pieces or just devastatingly dumb. Just poor. Like, all over the place.
The opening sequence with Wolverine and Sabretooth going through the different wards.
It was great.
Dope.
It's great.
Dope. Yep. Wolverine coming
and the
out
casting choice was great with Liev Schreiber as Sabretooth.
Right.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Wolverine taking down a helicopter. Sick. And then that was about it. The guy who was cast as Gambit was cool. I wish they would have done more with him.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. So there's our dumb thing from a previous movie, Deadpool in X-Men Origins Wolverine.
God bless Ryan Reynolds.
Sorry, fella.
The only reason he did that was because he literally fell on a grenade. Because he's like, this is the only chance like I'm going to be able to be Deadpool in another movie as if I take it now.
You know what? Pretty remarkable that he resurrected and redeemed that character. Pretty remarkable. Yeah. All good things. Okay. I want to talk a little She-Hulk. Now, you need to tell me, you say you want to stay spoiler-free. Are you still holding out for no spoilers? And, follow-up question, are you still holding out until the entire show has been released on Disney Plus before you dive in here?
How many episodes?
There have been 3 thus far. Third one released just this
Out of how many?
I believe we've said 12. That's what we're looking at.
Shoot. Now I'll probably jump in here pretty soon.
Yeah, you will.
I'll be honest, I've been kind of waiting on Daredevil.
Okay. How are you going to find out when Daredevil shows up if you're avoiding spoilers?
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. So I might just be diving in.
You might just be diving in. I'll try and keep it, that's fair. For right now, I'll try and keep it relatively spoiler free. And for those of you listening and watching, part of what I'll be cranking out on a regular basis is instant reaction videos. They'll be relatively brief. They'll be spoiler full, not spoiler free, after new episodes of She-Hulk have been released each Thursday. So keep your eyes open for those bad boys. So 3 episodes in so far. I think for me, I've caught the vibe. I've enjoyed it. It hasn't been anything spectacular, but my expectations going into it, we both discussed, hey, we're here predominantly looking forward to the other characters that are going to be in this show, right? And there's been plenty of that so far through 3 episodes. And I have this other thought, too, during this morning's episode of, that's actually not I think I had been saying that as a negative critique against the character of She-Hulk, like, why should I care about this show? But the more that I think about it, the more that I'm coming to realize that most of these characters need so many other characters around them to gain enough value to be able to tell a worthwhile story. There's some that are strong enough, that are rich enough in their own, within their own character, that they don't need as many or as wide of a range of supporting or additional characters to make them interesting. But I think it's savvy. I think it's wise that so far the She-Hulk show is bringing in a lot of other characters in the wider MCU. And to their credit, I think they're doing a good job of calling back into the past. You already know, of course, that Abomination is in the show from the trailer,
Right.
so that's not a spoiler. So that's a deep callback to the past of the MCU. They're hitting things in the present and also setting up characters for the future. And I think that's great. So that's been a real strength of the show. The CGI, I'm having a hard time not getting bugged by it. It just doesn't look, to me, as sharp as it should, which I think is a bummer. Because I think the overall design of the She-Hulk character, like they've ripped that straight out of the comic pages, that's great. I think the actress that's playing She-Hulk, and I need to look her up, you guys, because I'm going to just brutally butcher her name. Because it is unique, which is great, but I can't possibly recall it. Okay. Tatiana Mizlani.
I was going to guess the first name. I thought it was something like that.
Okay. Well, good on you. I wasn't going to be able to guess that. So, Tatiana Mizlani. I'll practice that. She's been good. She's been really solid. I think a good fit for the character. It's a challenge, right? When a certain portion of the time you're you in your own human skin, the other portion of the time you're playing the CGI version of the character. I think she's been terrific in both versions of the character. There's been times where the show has just started to almost veer off the path of, we're getting into some agenda territory. And so far, it's self-corrected. It's stayed on the path. I hope that continues. Let me just be clear. I don't watch these shows or these movies for anybody's flipping agenda. Anybody's. I don't want that. I watch it to see heroes and heroines do hero things. Do incredible, unbelievable things. Show off great feats of strength, superpowers, extraordinary abilities, and do all the good old-fashioned superhero sacrifice stuff that we know and love. That's what I'm here for.
I like fights.
So, Riley likes the fights.
I do.
Keep the agendas to yourself, please.
Violence.
Please. And Riley's here for the violence.
Yes.
So there have been plenty of strengths within that show. Now, the fourth wall, we touched on that a little bit with Deadpool. That's sprinkled in here. I don't feel like they found a very good rhythm with that yet. It feels awkward to me when we get a little fourth wall of She-Hulk. Maybe they need to do it more. I don't know, but I'm also not asking for that. So
sorry, nobody does better than Deadpool.
Yeah. Deadpool's kind of...
We've been spoiled.
He's the king there.
Deadpool, king of kings.
Yep.
When it comes to that.
So you're going to really enjoy, once you get into it, you're going to enjoy, I think, what they've shown of Abomination up to this point. Obviously, Daredevil's still hanging out there at some stage. But I like that in 3 episodes they've been full of a lot of worthwhile MCU characters. So I'm hopeful. I'm not, again, my hopes aren't getting extraordinarily high. I do hope they bring Daredevil and Charlie Cox into this as soon as possible, because the more that we can get of our guy, Matt Murdock, the better. But up to this point, I think the show is off to a really good start. So looking forward to seeing more. Looking forward to additional shows coming out in the very near future. The Lord of the Rings show is kicking off very soon. Andor's coming out. So we're in a very brief downturn of content, but the upturn it's coming. It's going to be thick.
I know. I might start House of Dragons.
Ooh.
That looks good, too.
Sure.
Game of Thrones. Pretty cool.
Yep. You're a big GOT guy.
I am, yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. That's all I got. I heard it's good. That's all that I know.
It's been coming through for you. So that's what I got on She-Hulk. When do you think you're going to dive in? How much longer are you going to hold out?
I don't know. Probably start soon, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to start soon.
Okay.
I don't think I'm going to have a choice. I think I'm going to have to just watch and see what I think.
You're just going to have to do it.
Right.
You're just going to have to do it. Yep. Okay. I think it's time, Riles, for a classic JP and the Beans Top 5.
Top 5.
That's what we're here for. That is what we're here for.
Top 5.
All right, so this episode's top 5 are our top 5 Batman villains, with one major caveat. To add some, as you mentioned earlier, flavor, spice, salt, pepper, butter to the proceedings, we are explicitly denying each other the ability to add the Joker to our lists.
Because we know he'd be number one.
He's the clear number one.
Not even close.
That would really spoil and rob this list-making process of any true energy, originality. So we're making it a little bit more challenging on ourselves. No Joker. Yes. So who you got? Top 5. Riley, you go first. Who is your 5th?
I'm going to say
best Batman villain? And are there any particular criteria that you considered as you contemplated top 5 Batman villains?
I strictly went off of badassery.
That's it. That's a heck of a criteria right there.
My criteria is who do I think is badass? So my top 5 is more badass than just like relevant to the Batman character. So if you're thinking, oh my gosh, you picked that guy? He's like way better adversary to the Batman. Like, I don't care. Okay, this is not what this list is.
This is our list.
My top 5 Batman villains based off of
I love it.
Badassery.
Love it.
Okay. Number 5.
Yes.
Now, this was the most difficult spot for me as well. Because I know you said you were
struggling
on the border, on the fence.
Yep.
So, I was between Mr. Freeze.
Sure.
Because his backstory is actually really good.
He does have an outstanding villain backstory.
But
tragic, full of the good old-fashioned villainous tragedy.
Right. But I ended up picking Hush.
Okay.
Because of his... I know I said earlier that was badassery, but his history with Batman is actually really fascinating.
Right.
And the fact that he's pretty much just an insane Bruce Wayne.
Love it.
Like, he actually pushed Batman to the edge.
Yep.
It was great. It's a great story.
Okay. That's fantastic.
That's all I got.
That's fantastic. My number 5 is Bane. And listen, Bane could be higher. Tell me he's not even on your list.
I forgot about Bane. Bane should be my number 5.
That's great. That's great.
Oh, that's really sad.
That's okay.
Bane should definitely be 5. Okay, go ahead.
That's all right. You lean into that Hush.
That dude broke the Batman, and I put Hush over him?
He broke the bat.
What is happening? There's always one, Jordan.
Yeah.
There's always one.
Yeah.
Every top 5 list we've done so far, I
know.
always miss
You're
one.
Like, that guy. That guy.
Like,
how'd I miss that one?
Bitch. Go ahead. I'm sorry I interrupted.
It's all
I'm having a crisis.
Bane is I think a villain that has a relatively safe or high floor, but a really low ceiling. What I mean by that is he belongs in that top category of Batman villains, but he's nowhere near the top 1 or 2 marks, in my opinion, because he is almost explicitly a physical adversary for Batman. Like, I know there's been times in the comics where they've tried to give him a little more
Smarts.
Juice in the noggin, a little more smarts, but that's fine to a certain point. But the reality is, this guy is here just to break things, which he did successfully, of the Batman. I think his portrayal in The Dark Knight Rises is terrific. So I'm using a little movie flavor here to influence my line of thinking. But even in the comics, he is a terrific adversary for Batman. But there's a limit to it. He's a absolutely top 5 Batman villain in my mind. But I think 5 is the exact right place for him to live and be. So number 5, Bane. Would you like to go with your number 4? Would you like me to go with my number 4 and we boomerang around this son of a gun?
It's up to you.
Let me go. I can tell you need a little moment to gather yourself.
Go ahead.
You gather. For me, number 4 is the Riddler. So very much the antithesis of the character I just brought up, Bane. Riddler has just about nothing to offer in terms of physical problems that he can give Batman.
But Jordan, he has a cane.
Yeah, he's got the cane.
It's a pretty cool cane.
He's got,
it
you
has
know what?
Question mark.
The design is fantastic until you start thinking, isn't that just a shepherd's crook? And yes, it is. But also, Boba Fett used a shepherd's crook in The Mandalorian, and it worked out really well. So, okay, you know what? Come back to it. The Riddler, good for you. You rock that shepherd's crook / question mark cane. Good for you.
And sideburns.
And he has some robust
killer
sideburns. Yep. And the just straight up goofiest super suit, shall we say, that a villain could possibly have. What I most enjoyed with the Riddler in the comics, there's been a couple storylines. One, he plays a part in the Long Halloween and Dark Victory storyline, very much as a just a wimpy version of the character, like not a threat at all. And it's a lot of fun watching Batman match wits with the Riddler. The version of the Riddler that I enjoyed the most was actually in the New 52, the Scott Snyder run. I was going to guess
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey, he's in third. Hilarious, but he's in third. The Scott Snyder run, that version of the Riddler is formidable. And again, not necessarily from a physical sense, but purely from the sheer just mental fortitude that dude has. He takes down Gotham City entirely, almost completely takes down Batman. Very much a worthwhile villain. And that storyline with the Riddler stretches over so many episodes. It's fantastic. So, the Riddler, great villain. Number 4 for me.
I'm literally going to get massacred for not having Bane on here. And then having this guy on here instead.
Let's see what you got.
Number 4, I have Clayface.
You're a joke.
Dude.
No, that's great. Clayface is just terrific.
Clayface is one of those Batman villains that has so much potential, and I feel like has just been underutilized.
Right, he hasn't even been misused. He just hasn't been used.
Like, they tried him as being a part of, like, the Batman team for a little bit, I know.
That was pretty recent.
Right, and then, but, like, this dude is a mixture of Sandman and the Chameleon, and you guys haven't figured out a good storyline for this guy?
Right.
Like, if you actually made him semi-smart instead of just a monster, like, there's so much potential there.
Agreed.
His power set's sick.
Agreed.
That's all I got.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of him being a failed actor. Like, so he's just like, crime! That's the next best bet!
It's such a goofy origin. Maybe that's what's holding him back. Is his origin is just it's hard to get excited about.
That's the best part. Because that's why he tries to be other people. It's because he couldn't make it as an actor, so he has to show them that he can play other roles.
Emotional trauma just flowing right out of him.
Right. Actually, one of the I think there's like 3 or 4 Clayfaces in the comics.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So
I love his role in Hush. That was really well utilized.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
And my point.
Just got to use him more.
He's just like.
Just got to use him more.
Being used.
Yep. He can do better.
Right.
He can do better. All right.
So
good pick. Who's your number 3?
Number 3, I have the Riddler.
There you go.
For the same reasons that you have.
That's great.
Because he challenges Batman. Like, Bane is his physical match. And, yeah, Riddler is his mental match.
That's fair.
Like, I don't think anyone else is going to challenge Batman on an intellectual level quite like the Riddler.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, it's great. It's great. Love that. All right, good pick for your number 3. My number 3 is Two-Face.
Wow. Wow, not even on my list.
I've got Two-Face up there, and this has a lot to do with how he's utilized in The Long Halloween and in The Dark Knight. In that movie and in that comic, he is so well utilized because he has a pre-existing relationship as Harvey Dent prior to being turned into Two-Face with Batman, which makes his turn from Harvey into Two-Face that much more devastating because he was an ally and he was a friend to Bruce Wayne, to Batman. And for him to get twisted from ally to villain, there's no other Batman character or Batman villain that fits that particular category. All the other villains have always been in their villain lane, so to speak. But Two-Face has that unique tie to Batman's history of former friend and ally, and that is such a big part of what makes him such a formidable villain because it draws or really tugs at Batman's desire to, yes, vanquish evil, but also challenges him from the perspective of, can you rehabilitate some of these villains? Can you do more than just crush them? Can you bring them back out of that pit? So, Two-Face, my number 3. All right. Number 2, The Court of Owls. We've talked about the Court of Owls a ton on this podcast. Can't talk about them too much, I don't think. They're an incredibly fresh and relatively new take on a Batman villain, but they are a combination or almost an amalgamation of all these other villains where they occasionally get the better of Batman mentally, physically, even emotionally messing with him. I couldn't enjoy the Court of Owls as a Batman villain enough, so that's my number 2. How about you, Riles?
That's also my number 2.
Yes!
I thought that was going to be your number 1, so I was kind of surprised. Now I'm wondering what your number 1 is. But they're behind the scenes in the background, even hiding underneath the Batman's nose.
Rascals.
Is what's incredible.
Just rascals.
With the Court of Owls.
Yeah.
Jeez, what's your number 1? Ah, man.
You got to go first. You got to reveal your number 1 first.
I know. My number 1, the leader of the League of Assassins.
Ah, nice choice. Nice choice.
And the Demon's Head, Ra's al Ghul.
Let's go.
Because we were talking about...
Great pick. He's not even on my list.
Wow. Yeah, see, we were talking about, like, intelligence. That's what Riddler brings to the table.
Yep.
Bane brings a physical presence. Ra's al Ghul, as a strategist as a whole, probably competes with all of his villains, if not surpasses them by a large margin.
And surpasses him in just sheer resources.
Right. The dude is rich. The effects that the Lazarus Pit has had in the Batman mythos as a whole is huge.
Yep.
Ra's has seen a lot of things, done a lot of things. He's the grandfather to Damian Wayne. Like, Ra's is that guy.
There's a ton of ties in there.
He can hold his own. Master with the sword, ain't afraid to kill somebody. It's great. It's fantastic.
He's not even afraid to die because he's got the Lazarus Pit. That's part of what makes him so terrifying is he's just incredibly reckless. Incredibly reckless.
And he trained Batman.
Yep.
Which is dope.
Yep.
And he played by Liam Neeson, even cooler.
Wow.
Ra's al Ghul, number 1.
Love that. That's a great number 1 pick. That'll be the one that I'm going, I should have had him on my list because that's just a great pick. Okay. For me, going a little bit off of the traditional path here, but I did tease this a little bit with bringing this comic. I'm picking the Batman Who Laughs from the outstanding death metal comic series from not that long ago, within the last 5 years or so. And this, I could be accused, if there were to be a rules committee, I could be accused of cheating here.
This is border.
I could be accused of cheating
definitely
here.
Border.
Yeah. So, is this? That's
what I thought about.
Have I taken HGH? Am I hitting 60 homers with the juice flowing through my veins?
Hey, he definitely popped up in my head. I'm like, I feel like he's too close.
I didn't think twice about it. I'm like, I'm just in. There's very little hesitation.
And here I was hoping for Condiment King to be there.
Pure skullduggery. Listen, the Batman Who Laughs he's a borderline, I'll admit that 100%, because he is a blend of Bruce Wayne and the Joker. Now, he's more Bruce Wayne, he's more Batman than the Joker, but he is very much what would happen to Batman if he killed the Joker and essentially turned into the Joker, went nuts, akin to the Joker. It's a terrifying concept. It's exceptionally well executed. And listen, if you've never read the death metal storyline, do yourself a favor and do that. But if you're going too much for me, okay, fine. Do a one-off. Grab Dark Knight's Metal. In this book is the origin for the 8 different Batmen, Dark Batmen, that show up in that storyline. They're all given outstanding origins, but the Batman Who Laughs, his origin is just shivers. It is exactly what it should be. Terrifying, exceptionally well drawn out. And that, to me, is the number 1 Batman villain because Batman has to combat the embodiment of what would happen if he went down the darkest possible path. Which, as we mentioned, with the Joker, is always right there in front of him if he would just break that one rule.
Right.
So there's my number 1.
There we go.
Fortunately, there is no rules committee, so I cannot be disqualified.
Top 5 Batman villains excluding The Joker.
Excluding the Joker. The OG. The number one. Riles, I think that takes us to the end of our pod.
Dang.
What a glorious pod it has been.
This is a quick one.
It is a quick one.
One of our quickest ones.
You know what? It's okay. We need to keep getting rest. We need to keep recuperating and keep cranking out extraordinary content.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah.
But
anything else you want to say to the good people? And I like how our shortest one is still just a shade under an hour.
well, our goal is always an hour at the least.
We're just generous people.
We are very generous.
Wow.
Oh yeah. What do we? How do I want to?
Just be on the lookout.
Be on the
We're gonna
lookout.
be cranking out some fresh stuff. Be on the lookouts on the YouTubes, on the TikToks if you're following Riles. We're committed to you guys as you are committed to us, and we're looking forward to expanding the JP and Beanstalk world with additional content throughout the weeks in between pods, culminating, of course, in great pods once every 2 weeks.
Yes, we want to stay relevant in your noggins. That's what we want to do. So we've created a very flexible release schedule of some certain things that we're going to try.
Yeah. No spoilers, though.
Couple new things. No spoilers. No spoilers. Couple new things. Couple old things. And yes.
Whole lot of fresh. It's going to be
right. Great. And as always, we're on YouTube, JP the Beanstalk.
Yes.
We are on TikTok, Magic Beans Productions.
Get there.
We are on... I mean, you're listening to us, so you figured that part out.
Yep.
And then if you love hearing my voice, as always, and you want to hear it in a less appropriate setting.
Enhancing that rating.
Right.
Yeah.
Going from a...
Set that pin up on Disney Plus because now you're watching the old Daredevil show.
Yes, this is probably PG-13.
There you go.
That's a hard R.
Hello.
Just for language. But... there you go. There you have it.
Love it.
On that note, Godspeed.
Peace.